What up, YouTube? How y'all doing today? It's Trapezoid. I'm here with a different video today. It's still into the sports, but it's the return of the XFL. Now, for me, I didn't get into football until I was a little bit older, but I was around when the XFL came into the play of 2020. It was something different, but it kept the fact of playing football year round because it was going to end and then, football was going to come back. So kept the yearly feel of football staying around. And unfortunately, due to COVID, everything got kind of scrapped up and, didn't know much about it. But thank you to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson for buying the XFL, has now revamped it, and will be ready to play for 2023. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I didn't realize they were announcing the teams, and I don't know if anyone else seen the video, but I figured, I'm like, they're bringing some of the same teams back, and then there's a couple different ones, so I just kind of want to go over it, because I remember, some of these had a ring to it. All the logos have 100% changed, even if it's the slightest modification. So, in 2020, there are 8 teams. There are still 8 teams for next year. You have the New York Guardians, DC Defender, Tampa Bay Vipers, Seattle Lewis Battlehawks, Dallas Renegades, Houston Roughnecks, Seattle Dragons, and the LA Wildcats. Now, what I remember most is, I believe he was on the Houston Roughnecks, PJ Walker, currently the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. He was essentially the MVP of the year. Other than that, not much more. I root for the St. Louis Battlehawks only because Tyler Heineke was the starting quarterback, who was also on the Panthers and now is on the Washington Commanders, who's done a fantabulous job, in my opinion, and personally should have had the starting position instead of them going out and training Wentz. That's a different time and a different story. But now, as of Monday, Halloween, we have now eight new teams to a degree. So now the New York Guardians have now gone to Orlando, and now they're the Orlando Guardians. DC Defenders have stayed the same. Tampa Bay Vipers have now moved to Vegas. Now they're the Vegas Vipers. Little makes more sense. St. Louis Battlehawks stay the same. Dallas Renegades turned to the Arlington Renegades. So still same state. I think they just changed the name up a little bit. Houston Roughnecks stay the same. Seattle Dragons have now turned to the Seattle Sea Dragons. Most of their teams out there have to do with the sea anyway. You get the Seattle Mariners, Seahawks, Krakens, and now the Sea Dragons. And then WMA team, Storm. So, water and all that. The LA Wildcats are no longer a team. Instead, San Antonio has gotten a team, and excuse me if I said it wrong, Brahmas. Don't know what they are. So, New York and Tampa no longer have a team, but their team has now transferred to Orlando and Vegas. And as I said, LA does no longer have a team. I know if you still look them up, they still have their Instagram and social medias. So who knows? Maybe in a couple years, league expands and they get different teams. For me, it all depends. I still want to root for the Seattle. Did I say Seattle? If I said Seattle, I apologize. But I meant St. Louis Battlehawks. That's the team I want to still root for, because I did root for them. They're still the same. If anything kind of switched up, just based off the name, I would go Vegas Vipers or the Seattle Sea Dragons, one of the two, just because of how the name sounds. But since St. Louis Battlehawks is still in there, I still want to root for them. They really don't have, they have stuff, but they lost their football team because the Rams went to LA. Who's going to be on the team? Who knows? As the USFL, players were drafted that, were former, either came out of college and then get drafted or got cut, or NFL, and then, it looks around. Like, I believe the throwing Samoan, as I know him, Jordan Tamo, excuse me if I said that wrong. I know he's gone from, he went from the XFL to the Kansas City Chiefs, is now the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Bandits in the USFL. So, everyone moves around. There's plenty of, to try to keep football yearly round. If anyone else remembers, I think the UFF, I can't remember what it was. They kind of scrapped up as well due to the money issues. But, I remember the San Diego Fleet. That's the team I root for. Just something different. I try to keep my teams spread around, but, I've had teams for long, introducing new teams. You just kind of got to roll with it. So I said the reason I chose St. Louis from before was because of the quarterback. I knew the quarterback, and I wanted to root for him to do well. So I kind of just go with teams that I know who they draft players. I probably still stick with St. Louis no matter who they draft. I will still have my favorite players in case I see someone that I know that goes to another team. I'll definitely root for them. But all the logos from before, the DC Defenders, the St. Louis Battlehawks, and the Houston Roughnecks, as the names are the same, their logos have just slightly been improved. For the Seattle Sea Dragons, Arlington Renegades, those two, even though the names have changed, so their logos just a little bit. You kind of see the resemblance from the 2020 logos. The Orlando Guardians keep the same logo, just a little different. Vegas Vipers, definitely different colors, but definitely looks like a viper's mouth. And the San Antonio Brahmas are the only new logo and new team that was not in the 2020. So I'm personally excited for this to start back up. Hopefully it succeeds in every way possible. Dwayne Rock is very invested into this. I see that, and I'm hoping for better and year-round football. So who's ready for the XFL? Comment your team. I want to know who you all root for. If you did root for them in 2020, or you still root from now, or you switch up your teams, or you just kind of see how the revamp goes and gonna base your team off players like how I did the first time. So the XFL is back, and I figured I'd make this video because it seemed interesting to me when it first came around in the unfortunate situation of COVID, and now it's coming back next year. So I know for all the football fans, I enjoy it. So hope you guys did enjoy. You guys remember, like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you never miss a new YouTube video. And I'll catch you all next time. See ya.